This 5.5-inch monitor is called the Feelworld Master MA6P. Now I know it may not sound like the most interesting name in the world, nor does it have the most eye-catching design in terms of looks, but this is actually a monitor that I've genuinely enjoyed using. Honestly speaking, I enjoyed using the MA6P more than my Blackmagic Video Assist, but as a monitor though, this is not a recorder, but at a price point of only $179, this is easily one of the best budget-friendly monitors to consider in the below $200 price range. So in the box it comes with the sun hood accessory and everything else is inside the black carrying case. So of course we have the monitor, and they were also thoughtful enough to include two cables. One of them is a full-size HDMI to a mini HDMI cable, and the other one is a full-size HDMI to a micro HDMI cable, so you won't have to fumble for adapters. All that's missing is a standard male-to-male HDMI cable. Now both the cables are a meter long, although I would have preferred that they gave us coiled versions of these cables, so it's a bit less messy when you do use it to hook it up to your camera. But then again, I'm just nitpicking at this point. It was nice of them to even include these in the first place. And finally, it comes with a metal L bracket that allows you to mount the monitor to your camera's hot shoe while still being able to tilt it up and down. There's also a cold shoe on the side of the L bracket to make up for the hot shoe on the camera that the thing itself just occupied, so you could still attach other accessories like a mic or an audio receiver while the monitor is sitting on your camera's hot shoe. So thumbs up there for thoughtful product design. Now I'm gonna be upfront and say that the build of the monitor is very plasticky. The entire build is mainly plastic, but the upside to that is that the whole unit is wonderfully lightweight. The naked monitor itself weighs in at only 185 grams, which is really light for a monitor of this size. Its final operational weight will depend on what batteries you choose to use with it. The monitor has a single fixed battery plate that accepts two kinds of batteries, either Sony MPF series batteries or Canon LPE6 batteries. Both of these are very common batteries, so sourcing batteries for this monitor shouldn't be an issue. So if you can see, there's different pins on opposite ends of the battery plate for each kind of battery. Again, great inclusion in terms of design, so the users are not limited to just one type of battery for powering the unit. Plus, you get to choose. If you want a longer battery life, then you can simply go for something higher capacity like the Sony MPF 970 batteries, or if lightweight is your priority, then using the Canon E6s will keep the operational weight to a minimum. And that makes this a fantastic monitor for gimbal work when weight is an essential factor, or other similar applications like long hours of handheld shooting. Looking at the monitor, the front of it looks rather clean with relatively thin bezels. It's got a small indicator LED on the bottom right and a Velcro lip for the sun hood attachment. On the bottom, there's a DC out port, so the monitor can actually supply its power to other accessories or even power your camera. There's also a 3.5mm headphone jack and a mini USB port for software updates. And over on the left edge, there's the HDMI input, but there's also an HDMI output because this monitor supports HDMI pass-through, which means you can send the video signal onwards to other accessories like a wireless video transmitter. But this is an HDMI only monitor, so it doesn't have SDI inputs. Moving on, there's the 12-volt DC in for actually powering the monitor if you do not wish to use the battery plate on the back, but bear in mind that the monitor doesn't ship with any DC power supplies or cables, so you're gonna have to prepare your own if you wish to use this port. On the top, we have the navigation, menu, and power buttons. There is also 3 user assignable buttons for quick access to some of the monitor's features. And on the very ventilated back, there is the battery plate. And if you look closely, you'll find mounting holes for the removable 1/4-inch tripod socket. By default, the monitor ships with the tripod socket attached onto the right edge, so you can use it with the L bracket accessory, but you can choose to move it to the bottom edge. It's just 2 screws holding it in place. I personally prefer it on the bottom because I usually use a magic arm with my monitors, but if you don't plan on doing that and you plan to use the stock L bracket, then it makes sense to leave it on the side. I do wish that they included an extra one of these socket attachment things so that you can have them both on the bottom and the side of the unit, just so that there's more options when it comes to mounting the unit. But let's talk about the screen panel itself. It's got 1920 by 1080 pixels in a 5.5-inch screen, so pixel density is excellent. Images are very crisp and sharp, and it's certainly very pleasant to look at. Natively, the screen is 1080p, but it can support an input signal up to 4K. And simply by eyeballing it, the colors look very much acceptable. There's no horrendous color cast that I can notice. The display's got a brightness of 500 nits, which is as bright as a maxed out iMac screen, and that for most situations is bright enough to be looked at comfortably, but in direct, harsh sunlight, the image is still visible, but it's very hard to see it properly. The sun hood helps a little bit, but 500 nits against the sun is still stretching it a little. Now, Feelworld does have a higher end model called the MA7U, and that was designed for daylight viewing because it has a crazy brightness of 2200 nits. If you're interested in that, my buddy Adam Lobo has just reviewed it over on his channel. I'll leave a link below to his review. But back to the MA6P, this monitor is loaded with a lot of features that you would typically expect from a monitor in this range, including image adjustments and fine-tuning, image zoom, center markers, safe area markers, grid display, image flip and rotate, a histogram, focus peaking, zebras, audio levels, and crop marks. But I was also surprised by features that I did not expect to see in a monitor that costs less than $200, namely false color and anamorphic D-squeeze with a fully customizable D-squeeze factor. At the moment, it doesn't have a waveform monitor or LUT support, which would have been incredibly nice to have. But then again, this is a monitor that costs only $180. I will say, however, that I found the menus a bit frustrating to operate, I think primarily due to the layout of the navigation buttons because it goes left, right, menu, down, up. And another thing that I thought I'd point out that I thought was kind of funny is that the view assist functions like false color and focus peaking actually draw over the menu graphics. So it applies the peaking and the false color to your menus as well. Other than that, there's really not much else to complain about on this monitor. Like, it might not be the most premium monitor out there, but it's already offering incredible functional value and it's very affordable. It's a great lightweight monitor at a great price point, and I would recommend it. If you're interested in getting one, I'll leave purchase links below. And that sums up the review. If you enjoyed it, do consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, here's another video of mine YouTube things you should watch, or if you don't like computers telling you what to watch, here's one of my latest videos.